because you are going so crazy, you're going to start things off. Talk to me about Group H. We've got Uruguay versus South Korea at a 0-0, Portugal 3-2 to Ghana. Talk to me about your thoughts on that group.
All right, so I'll say this is super early for this group considering they've only played one game each. Uh, I think as of the date of recording, as we just talked about, Mexico, Argentina was the last game that played. So there's like half of the groups, actually more than half of the groups, I think. No, I think half. Half of the groups still have only played one game.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a bit harsh to say exactly like which team has been most or least impressive, but at the moment, right now, maybe this you could tell me if I'm wrong. This might be a hot take. Most impressive for me, the team that's at the bottom of the table right now, Ghana. I think they played a hell of a game against Portugal. I mean, they were the heavy underdogs in this game, and they were just so gritty and tough in that game. And they were a slip away from getting a point. Like I know, in my opinion, a deserved point, but um, and nothing will ever top hitting the Ronaldo Sue while losing in the 89th minute. That
Yeah,
is like I would say it's CONCACAFing, but honestly, I don't know. Maybe that's common, like
it's
uh
AFCON, baby.
AFCON.
Get
Yeah.
get AFCON, bro.
Yeah.
um,
But I mean, we come on as USA fans, we know really well that like despite the fact that Ghana's the lowest ranked team coming into this World Cup, they just know how to be gritty and how to be tough and how to get results in the World Cup. This team always plays above how they look on paper. And I think they've done it so far. I still think it's going to be tough for them to get out of this group, especially because they still did end up losing that game. But I thought they played way better than I was expecting them to.
yeah, and how crazy was the ending of that game where they nearly got it back when Costa dropped the ball on the floor
Oh, that
and
would have been insane.
he picks it off and then slips. All he has to do is stand there and tap it home, and he slipped. The
I
soccer gods
know.
were not on Ghana's side there, not at all. But I agree that is my most impressive team as well. Um, this is a team of world beaters, Portugal, right? Everybody's thinking they're going to get to the finals at some point. I mean, a bunch of people are. And they were able to hang with them and nearly took it off of them, nearly took 2 points off of them. They matched Portugal in shots. They beat them in aerial battles. They matched them in their tackles defensively. Um, they were outpossessed, but they stuck in. They took their chances. They countered well, and they showed that they can play with teams in this league, in this group rather. Excuse me. Question of the day. So clips.
Uh-huh.
Um, who's your least impressive team so far out of this Group H?
Okay. Again, it's very early on, but I put Uruguay. For me, I had a lot of chips on their table, whatever
Yeah.
saying you want to put. I have them going like pretty far in the tournament. I think that they're a really good team on paper. I think that they're a team that was coming in form into the tournament. Uh, and again, this one game where they didn't even lose, so it's very harsh to say that they're least impressive. Uh, But the way that I was looking at that team, I was expecting them to get 3 points against South Korea, who again are definitely not schlubs by any means. That's a very decent team. But when you have only 3 games to get out of the group, every win matters. And it's a game where I think that it would have been super beneficial for them to get a win because playing against Portugal, that's going to be a tough game no matter what. And then we just talked about how tough it is to get points off of Ghana too. So drop points here, I think, is below what I was expecting for them.
Yeah, a lot of these groups as we go through them is going to it's going to highlight that there are going to be teams that we have to call least impressive that aren't necessarily bad, but just underperform based off of our expectations. So things
Hmm.
things like that. Like I said, I also had Uruguay because a lot of people rated them. I personally put them out because I've got a big brain, right? Big brain brag. I knew that they were going to flop, and I have a massive, massive cranium. Um, but there were a lot of people who did rate them, like my co-host. And they should have been at least second to the group, if not maybe first for some people who are guessing. Um, but they struggled to break down a side made up of Korean League and Japanese League players, which is not and I defended those guys to the death. I told you, you were like, oh, I wasn't sure about, or that might have been the Japanese team about, their back line. You weren't sure about them. Their results speak for themselves. Nunez was non-existent. Suarez didn't get a shot. The attack was just non-existent for this Uruguayan team that a lot of people thought was going to be fantastic. So they're also my least impressive team.
Co-team.
Yeah. So we want to pick like the best player of the group, quote
Standout
unquote.
player, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
standout player. That's a good phrase. I picked Bruno Fernandes. Ran the show for Portugal. Nabbed 2 assists in that Ghana win. He had 3 key passes with 94% key pass accuracy. The Portuguese Alex Mouil, if you will.
Gotta sneak him in there every
So
episode, huh?
I got to tell you, I was really upset when you said go reverse because I was waiting for the very last minute to slide that in there. I put it there specifically.
Well, now you get to start off with it.
No, so like I said, he ran the show. Game went through him, 2 assists, 3 key passes, never lost the ball. He looked really good, so he's my standout player.
You want to know? You want to hear something funny?
Is he yours as well?
I also picked Fernandez.
Oh my God, let's go. Team.
The only fact or fiction team I had in this one we already talked about was Ghana. I think we kind of covered that conversation. So
Yeah. A little bit too in depth.